what do you think is the piece missing in the next 5 to 10 years in FinOps, whether or not what's going to happen in FinOps, and something that you don't think people is talking about, and maybe how Pelanor is approaching or highlighting that. Do you have any like crazy or prediction that do you think nobody is talking about in FinOps?
So I think basically that probably the unitless dollar is gonna die. So like what you've said, that people, it's easy to talk about it because it's numbers. I think the numbers we talk about today could be considered meaningless or almost meaningless and will be considered almost meaningless. Like saying we've spent, I don't know, $2 million on AWS last month isn't going to be like the conversation, but it's more going to be about the cost per value. And that's the way people are going to change the way they're talking. So the cost per API call, per customer, per interaction. They think we're already heading there in some sense, and more platforms are like changing even their pricing model, their basic pricing model to be that, moving even from like users in SaaS or like a license to something that's much more based on a specific interaction. And that's also going to drive the business to talk about things in that way. Because at the end of the day, if your business is growing and if you're getting more value, then it doesn't matter that you're spending more money. And I think, by the way, especially with AI, it's going to happen more and more that you're going to spend a lot more but get more money because people pay you for that interaction. So the thing that should make sense a lot more is to talk about how that changes over time and how that trends with new feature releases or with new model releases if you're using a new model, or with the patterns that people are using your tool. And that conversation only makes sense when it relates to unit. So I think people and FinOps and leadership is less going to talk about how much we spent, but more about, are we doing that efficiently? How much value do we get per dollar is spent? And that's going to be a massive shift that hadn't happened yet in most places.